Factsverse presents Couple buys abandoned estate, but then they found this secret in their backyard. Steve and Jane Fry were living a relatively quiet life in Kansas. They loved the quiet of rural life, and they decided to move a larger piece of land. They looked at properties in the area near their current home, and finally they found an old abandoned estate. And what they found in the backyard is really cool. We'll tell you what that was in just a moment. First, help us spread the word about Factsverse by clicking that like button, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Stephen and Jane began as college sweethearts. They met while they were both attending Heston College, and it was there that they learned to be potters. Well, when Steve and Jane were first married in 1974, they were living in Georgia making pottery. They were both very artistic. And 2 years after being married, they decided to move back to Kansas, which is where they were both originally from. They moved into Elk Falls, which is a rural area. It's also known as being one of the poorest counties in Kansas. And this was great for the couple because they were able to find a home on the cheap. Being newlyweds, they didn't have much money to spend. The population of Elk Falls was small. There were only about 100 full-time residents there. It was the type of place that the Frys had always dreamed of. Well, their pottery business took off in Elk Falls. For 40 years, they were the owners and operators of Elk Falls Pottery. Their time apprenticing the skills of pottery helped them become famous among the local artists all throughout the Midwest. When the Frys started looking for a larger piece of property in 2004, they were doing so not just to expand their home but also to expand their pottery shop. And finally, they found Maud Frakes Estate. The estate consisted of a house, barn, and several outbuildings. The property covered 600 acres of land, which was exactly what they wanted. The estate wasn't in the best of shape, though. It had not been lived in for decades, and the house was a disaster. Vandals had stripped the home of all valuables. There was no working light fixtures, no hardware. The house was a total fixer-upper. The house was built in 1896, and it was purchased by Marion and Maud Franks in 1904. In 1930, Marion died, and Maud became a local philanthropist. She was a staunch Republican, and she collected stones and art. The Great Depression hit the farmers in that area very hard. When they were looking to make some extra cash, Maud would hire them to construct ornate sculptures out of stone and concrete, and she placed them in her garden. The sculptures and the quiet location were what made the couple fall in love with the property to begin with. Another selling point was the folk art. It's found throughout the property, and it's considered highly collectible. This type of art is common in rural Kansas. The local farmers and ranchers created concrete bridges, poles, paths, lighthouses, and gazebos. Maud loved elephants, and there were plenty of elephant sculptures in different shapes and sizes. Some were even designed to climb the trellises. By 1936, Maud had a collection of between 1,500 and 1,800 ceramic and stone elephants. There was even one that sprayed water from its trunk into the swimming pool. When Maud died in 1954, the house was closed up. As the years passed, vines, trees, and ivy began to overtake the sculptures, and the architecture began to crumble. Well, after the Frys moved onto the property, they found fossils and other rare stones. They couldn't believe the things they were finding on this property. Many of the buildings on the property had already collapsed. The roof on the main house was one of those structures. They dismantled the destroyed buildings so that they could salvage the lumber to fix the house and the barn. When the couple found something in the yard, they contacted the Grassroots Art Center in Lucas. They believed that what they found was one of the first pieces of folk art ever done in Kansas. Due to the history and the uniqueness of the property, the Frys decided to restore the property and turn it into Elk Falls Pottery and Bed and Breakfast. The couple has plenty of work to do before restoring the property, but they're sure that it will all be worth it. Subscribe for more!